Hi, my name is Elka Ray. I'm a crime writer, and today I'm going to read you a short story that I wrote called Cleaning Up. Madame Jenkins likes her underwear arranged in neat rows and has one big drawer for bras and another for panties. I'm folding a floral bra that's big enough to carry coconuts when Madame Jenkins enters her bedroom. "Oh, home," she says, as though surprised to see me here. "I've been looking for you." I slide the flowery bra into its place and start to fold a pink one. "Yes, madame," I say. No doubt she's devised some other task for me. "I forgot to tell you we're having guests tonight," she says. "There'll be two more at dinner." I want to sigh, but just say, "Yes, madame. This morning I went to the market and bought enough food for Mr. Jenkins, madame, and their two kids, Jack and Layla. But now, at 4 p.m., madame tells me to cook for 6. I'll have to buy more chicken." "Do you have time to bake a pie?" she asks, and I check my watch. If I have to shop, make dinner, and bake a pie, there's no way I'll get through any ironing. There's a wet market just a few blocks from the Jenkins place, but it's only open in the mornings. By this time, I have no choice but to drive to the supermarket, which is about 15 minutes away. I've just parked my motorbike and retrieved my ticket from the bike attendant when I hear someone calling my name. Turning, I'm stunned to see my ex-husband, Bing, straddling a battered Honda Cub motorbike. My first thought is to ignore him, but it's obvious that I've seen him. I take off my helmet and face mask and walk his way. While Bing and I remain legally married, I haven't seen him in 4.5 years. That's how long it's been since he left me for a younger woman and I moved to Ho Chi Minh City. As I skirt parked cars and motorbikes, I'm surprised by my lack of anger. I'm not happy to see Bing, and I certainly don't love him, but I no longer loathe the guy. My biggest motivation for crossing the parking lot is curiosity. Bing looks awful. He's aged a decade since I last saw him. He asks if I'm well, and I say yes. The truth is, I'm doing fine. Thanks to the English I learned in school, I've spent the last 3 years working as a maid for Western expats. They're demanding, but pay well. I've managed to save more money in the past 3 years than during my 15 years with Bing. By the end of next year, I should be able to buy my own place, which is when I'll move back to the countryside and take my son back from Bing's parents to live with me again. "What are you doing in Saigon?" I ask, and Bing shrugs. "Working construction?" He smiles and asks for my phone number. I'm not sure why I give it to him. Maybe I'm a bit nostalgic, because while Bing can be a bastard, he's the father of my only child. And we had some good times, back before Bing got laid off from his job at the state-owned coconut husk factory. I don't ask about the other woman, because looking at Bing's face, it's obvious she's left him or proven impossible to live with. I can't help but feel smug. He was an idiot to leave me. "I'll call you," he says when I'm turning to go. "By the way, you look fantastic." "Thanks," I say. I wonder what he wants from me. I manage to bake a strawberry pie. The Jenkins guests eat 2 slices each and ask for the recipe. As I wash the dishes, I reflect on meeting my ex and how bad he looked. I've just emptied the trash when my mobile rings. I'm not surprised to hear Bing on the line. He takes to calling me once every few days, the two of us chatting about this and that, although he's cagey about what he's up to. I've told him that I'm working for Westerners, but not how much money I'm making. If I know Bing, if he knew, he'd soon be begging for handouts. We've been back in touch for about 6 weeks when he mentions that he's working with his brother, Tom. They have a night off. Can I meet them for coffee? I don't usually get time off, even on Sundays, but ask Madame Jenkins if I can go out for a few hours. I can tell she wants to say no, but has no good reason to stop me. The house is clean, dinner is done, and I've already washed the dishes. Since I don't have my own motorbike, I ask Bing to pick me up. I tell Madame Jenkins he's my brother. "So, how long have you worked there?" asks Bing, when we're seated in the Paris Nights coffee shop. "Just 2 months," I say. The Jenkins are new to Vietnam. This is the first time they've lived outside of America. I've discovered it's better to work for foreigners who are newly arrived. They're still grateful to have help, plus they don't know enough to realize that I'm inflating their market bills. "Big house," says Bing, and I nod. All my foreign bosses have lived in palaces, 5, 6 bedrooms, all of which need to be cleaned daily. I don't know why they're so rich. I think Mr. Bing works in shipping. Mr. Jenkins works in shipping. Bing licks his lips. He looks nervous. He's slicked back his hair, maybe to hide that he's balding. I wonder if he's hoping to get back together with me. Sometime later, Tom shows up. He's Bing's younger brother. Tom greets me politely and orders a beer. Like Bing, he looks shifty. We talk about some relatives we have in common and the weather and the price of gasoline. After that, Bing turns the conversation back to my job. What are my bosses like? What sort of stuff is in their house? Do they have a flat screen TV? How big is it? Now, I've known Bing for a long time, plus I wasn't born yesterday. You want to rob their place, I say. I shake my head. Forget it. Tom looks sheepish. Bing shrugs. What do you care, he says. They're not your family. They're my bosses, I say, and it's an okay job. Plus, I don't want any trouble. There won't be any trouble, says Bing. We'll break a window to get in. You don't have to help us at all. Just tell us if it's worth our trouble. In my mind, I roam through the Jenkins house. Since I have to mop and dust, I know every square inch of it. I know that each family member has a camera, a mobile phone, and a laptop. There are 2 flat-screen TVs, and both Madame and Mr. Jenkins have iPads, while the kids are going to get them for Christmas. What's in it for me, I say. $1,000,000, says Bing. He lips his lips. Just for information. I fight back a laugh. The stuff in the Jenkins house is worth thousands of dollars. There's no way I'm getting involved for a lousy $1,000,000, I say. Like I said, I don't need any trouble. My ex-husband scratches his chin. There's dirt under his fingernails. Oh, come on, he says. Help me out here. Think of Liam. This is a cheap shot. So far as I know, Bing contributes virtually nothing to our son's care. I'm the one who pays for his food, his books, and his school fees. Bing buys him the occasional shirt or pair of shoes and acts like it's a big deal. I hope Liam doesn't grow up like his daddy. Forget it, I say again. I have no reason to betray the Jenkins. But then again, I have no reason to protect them. They're not worse than my previous employers, but they're also no better. How many times has Madame yelled because I forgot to restock the fridge with sodas? How many times has Mr. Jenkins dropped crumbs on the sofa just after I vacuumed? Or asked me to lug his golf clubs to the car when he weighs 3 times as much as me? The more I think about it, the more Bing's proposal makes sense. The Jenkins are rich, and they're careless. I reach for my lemon juice and smile. I know where everything is, I say, but if you want my help, it's going to cost you. Bing and Tom wanted to strike while Mr. Jenkins was away on business, except as luck would have it, he didn't go anywhere. After 2 weeks turn into 3, they decide to just go for it. The Jenkins are heavy sleepers, and I've told them how to avoid the bedrooms. I wish I didn't know it was tonight, so I wouldn't have to try and behave normally. When the Jenkins turn off the TV and head for bed, it's a relief. I lock the doors and the windows. Even though I've been up since 5:30, I can't fall asleep. I lie in bed, imagining that I hear things. I wonder how many other places Bing and Tom have robbed. I hope they know what they're doing. I've just nodded off when there's a loud thump. I sit up with a start. Was that a door slamming? I'm hoping it was a dream when there is a tremendous crash. My heart starts to pound. Cursing, I get out of bed. Trust Bing and Tom to screw this up. They were supposed to be quiet. I'm hovering in the doorway when a loud yell is followed by a thud. There are more yells and more thuds and loud, clanging sounds. I flick on the hall light. Madame is standing at the far end of the hall, staring over the landing. There's a horrified look on her face. Hearing me, she tugs her dressing gown shut. Oh my God, call the police, she cries. Before doing as I'm told, I peer over the landing. I can see the staircase below and a small square of the ground floor. At the bottom of the stairs, Mr. Jenkins stands clutching a golf club. A few steps away lies Bing, face down in a pool of blood. I bite my lip. Bing's not moving. I must be in shock because I feel oddly calm, as though it were someone else's husband bleeding on the Art Deco floor tiles. It occurs to me that I might be to blame, since I spent years wishing Bing dead, but of course that's ridiculous. I retreat into my room and grab my mobile, but instead of calling the cops, I dial Tom's number. I half expect to hear the ring inside the house, but he must be some distance away. Not surprisingly, he doesn't answer. After about 10 rings, I hang up and rejoin Madame Jenkins in the hallway. Mr. Jenkins must hear me because he looks up. The hair around his bald patch is in wild disarray, and his face is even paler than usual. He lowers the golf club. Are the police coming, he asks. There were 2 of them, 2 men in our house. They were coming right at me. I descend the steps cautiously. Dressed in blue striped pajamas, Mr. Jenkins is still clutching that club. I look from him to the floor. The pool of blood around Bing's head has grown, almost black in the dim light. Mr. Jenkins, I say, when I'm near the foot of the stairs, I think better not call police. Here is not same as America. I nudge my ex with my foot. Nothing stirs. Police will say, your fault. We'll take big money to hide this, or, I pause ominously, you go to jail. Mr. Jenkins' mouth gapes. What? He glances towards Bing and shudders, but this was self-defense. He moves closer to Bing and crouches down. There are tears in his eyes. Maybe he's still alive, he says. I've seen enough corpses to know that my ex-husband is dead. He's lost a massive amount of blood. I grip Bing's wrist. There's no pulse. Dead, I say. You kill him. By now, Madame Jenkins has crept down the stairs. How the kids have managed to sleep through this, I have no idea. But that's how kids are. They can sleep through anything. Madame wrings her hands. Oh my God, what should we do? She asks. Her gaze keeps flicking to and from Bing. In that great big house, his body looks small and pathetic. I, a friend, can help hide body, I say. Nobody know this man here. Police think he died in a fight or is robbed. I shrug. Nothing connect you. The Jenkins look at each other. But I did nothing wrong, says Mr. Jenkins. The bags beneath his eyes quiver. This is crazy. His wife shakes her head. I know, she says, but you know what the police are like here. She looks to me for support, hugs herself. Home knows how things work here. She swallows hard. I think we should listen to her. This time, when I call Tom, he picks up the phone. He's breathing like someone who ought to be on a respirator. Brother Bing's dead, I say. You have to get back here now and help get rid of his body. What? Says Tom. I'm not coming back there. Then he starts to cry. I'm going to kill that bastard, he sobs. He killed my brother. Tom has never been smart, and right now he's panicking. Calm down, I say. If you kill this Western guy, you'll be facing a firing squad by next weekend. Of course, Tom continues to rant, but basically he's a coward. And I know for a fact that he never liked Bing. Listen, I say, as soon as the cops ID Bing, you're the first person they'll come looking for. In the ensuing pause, I can hear this sinking in. So what should I do? He rasps. The Jenkins, who can't understand a word, are both watching me anxiously. I give them a reassuring nod and tell Tom to get over here. I explain that the Jenkins will go along with it and tell him where we can dump Bing's body. After hanging up, I explain to the Jenkins. I don't know, says Mr. Jenkins. I suspect he's in shock because he can't stop shivering. He rubs his eyes. What does this guy want for helping us? $5,000, I say. I considered asking for 10, but to start off, 5's plenty. The Jenkins look stunned. $5,000, says Madame. She pushes her yellow hair out of her eyes. I think maybe we should let the police handle it. I shrug. The dead man have no knife, nothing, I say. Call the police if you like, but sure they say this murder. How many times you hit him? I roll Bing over his back, then wish I hadn't. One eye is covered by blood-soaked hair, the other bulging. I look away. This big trouble. At the sight of Bing's face, Madame starts to cry. She's let her dressing gown fall open to reveal a lacy pink nightie that's held to iron. It makes her look bigger than she is, and she's big enough already. I hold my breath. When the cops identify Bing's corpse, they'll soon discover we're married. I should never have let him talk me into this. Madame Jenkins wipes her nose. Holmes right, she says. Then her face crumples. Oh, I wish we'd never come here. This country. She's unable to finish. Mr. Jenkins shuffles over and hugs her. When Tom arrives, I introduce him as my cousin. Luckily, Mr. Jenkins doesn't recognize him. Since Tom can't think straight and the Jenkins are equally useless, it's up to me to come up with a plan. I shove a dark floppy hat over Bing's bloody head, then help Tom and Mr. Jenkins lug him out to the driveway. Madame trails along looking helpless. If she had any sense, she'd go and mop up that bloodstain. Get on your motorbike, I tell Tom. We're going to prop him on the seat behind you. While Bing isn't big, moving a dead body isn't easy. His arms flop around and his hat keeps falling off. It takes us some minutes to get him positioned on the bike. I climb up after him. Sandwiched between me and Tom, Bing looks like a drunk who's passed out. I tug his hat down. I can smell the blood on him. The empty lot where we dump Bing is only a few blocks away. It's a calculated risk. If the body's too close to the Jenkins place, the cops might come by and question them. But if we drive too far, there's more chance of meeting people. Luckily, the streets are deserted. The closest street lamp to the vacant lot has burned out, which is lucky too. We drag Bing about 5 meters into the bushes and sneak out of there. 2 weeks later, the Jenkins announce they're going home to America. They feel unsafe here. They've already started packing. Before the Jenkins leave, I'll be asking for a going-away present. Another $5,000 seems about right. After all, they owe me. In a way, I'll miss the Jenkins. Everything has changed since the break-in. No one yells if there are no sodas in the fridge or asks me to lug golf bags. Madame Jenkins' underwear is in a big jumble. The very last thing I mopped was that great big blood stain. Before I cleaned it, I took a photo. Their floor tiles are very distinctive. Naturally, the Jenkins have offered to help me find a new job. They can't recommend me highly enough, but this will be my last job as a maid. I'm moving back to the countryside. I'm going to buy a small house near a river and raise ducks. And I'll make damn sure my son grows up to be a better man than his daddy. Thank you for listening. My name is Elka Ray, and this story is in a collection called What You Don't Know, Tales of Obsession, Mystery, and Murder in Southeast Asia. You can find it on Amazon, and you can find me at elkaray.com. Okay, bye.